Boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 1.3, Calendars and Clocks. The materials that you'll need today are just notebook paper, pencil, and your math journal. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about the page that we completed in the previous lesson. So if you could open up your math journal to page 2. If you're noticing that you have any mistakes, if you could fix any of those with your pencil and eraser. So the first problem that we had was we had 4 dimes and 1 nickel, and we needed to say how much money that was. So you should have had 45 cents. For number 2, we had 2 dimes, which was 20, plus a nickel for 5 or 25, and 2 pennies to give us a total of 27 cents. For number 3, we had a quarter, which was 25, a nickel, which was 5, and 2 pennies to give us a total of 32 cents. For number 4, we had 2 quarters, 25 plus 25 is 50, and then we had 3 dimes. So if I was at 50, then 60, 70, 80 cents. For number 5, we had a quarter, which was 25, plus a 10 to give us 35, another 10 would give us 45, and then one more would be 46 cents. And for the last one, number 6, we had a dime, which was 10, and they put them in a different order. So we had a nickel, which was 5, a second dime, which was 10. So I know that 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 5 is 25. And then I have a quarter, which is also 25. So 25 plus 25 is 50. You could have also looked at your biggest coin first, looking at your 25, and then count your dimes, 35, 45, and then lastly your nickel for 50 cents. For the next slides, if you could use your notebook paper or a whiteboard and marker if available to write down your answers. If the speed is too fast, please pause as often as needed. We're going to practice counting a little bit first. So if you could count out loud with me. So we're going to count on by twos. We'll start at 124 and we'll stop at 140. So again, we'll start at 124. Are you ready? Here we go. 124, 126, 128, 130, 132, 134, 136, 138, 140. Let's try another one. This time we'll count on by fives. So we'll start at 225 and we'll stop at 300. Are you ready? Here we go. 225, 230, 235, 240, 245, 250, 255, 260, 265, 270, 275, 280, 285, 290, 295, 300. And let's try one more for today. So we'll count on by tens. We'll start at 320 and we'll stop at 400. So 320, 330, 340, 350, 360, 370, 380, 390, 400. All right. The next thing I want you to do is if you could write down on your whiteboard how many months are there in a year, or you could say it out loud. If you said that there are 12 months in a year, that is correct. Can you press pause and say the names of the months out loud? If you said January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, you are correct. You maybe had a little poem or a song to go along with it. I'm going to ask you a few more questions. These ones you could write down on your whiteboard or your notebook. How many days are there in a week? If you said 7, you are correct. How many days in a month? And for this one, there's going to be 2 answers that are most common, but there's 2 other answers that only would happen in the month of February. So in February, there's either 28 or 29 days in a month. But in most months, we either have 30 days or 31 days. How many days does this month have? If you said 30, you are correct. What day of the week did this month begin? If you said Tuesday, you are correct. We're going to put our notebook to the side and we're going to take out our math journal. We'll talk about 2 different pages. We'll first talk about page 3 and then we'll do a little review and then we'll talk about page 4. So if you could open up your math journal to page 3, it looks like this and says calendar for the month. We're going to fill out this calendar together today. So the first thing that I want you to write at the top is what month is it right now? If you have that our month is September, that is correct. And if you haven't written that down, if you could neatly write the word September at the top. The next thing we're going to do is plug in our days. Now we have to be careful, not all months, we don't always start on the very first one. Remember when we were talking today that our month begins on a Tuesday. So my first day, my number 1, is going to be on Tuesday. Can you write your first row of days? I included that the first day of school was on Tuesday, September 1st. If you want to write that down, you can too. Then let's take a look at our second row of days. And if I'm going too fast, please pause as often as needed. Then you can look at your third row of days. My third row of days, and yours should too, should start with a 13 and should end with a 19. Then we can look at our fourth row. My fourth row starts with a 20 and ends with a 26. And then our fifth row doesn't go all the way over. Mine starts with a 27 and it ends with the 30th on Wednesday, Wednesday the 30th. So your calendar should look like mine. If you want to add any special days onto your calendar, feel free to do so. The next thing we're going to do is talk a little bit about clocks. So you might want to have that notebook or that whiteboard to write down a few of these times before we move into our math journal page. But looking at our clock, so I know that my hour hand is going to be my shorter hand. And my minute hand, that's that longer hand. So looking at this first clock, what time is shown? And you can either write it down or say it out loud. If you said 4 o'clock, you are correct. How about this second one? What time is shown? Notice how my hour hand is in between the 3 and the 4, and my minute hand is on the 6. If you said that the time is 3:30, you are correct. How about this clock? What time is shown? you can see that my hour hand is a little bit past the 8 and the minute hand is right on the 3. Well, I know if it's just a little bit past the 8 that my hour is 8 o'clock. Now when I'm figuring out how many minutes, I'm going to count by 5. So I'm going to start at my 1 and I say 5, 10, 15. So I would have the time 8:15. The other thing I want to show you is how to draw the hands to show the following times. So if I had the time 7 o'clock, I would show that by making a shorter hand right at the 7, and then my longer hand, my minute hand, would go up to the 12 to show the time 7 o'clock. If I want to show the time 4:30, well, if it's 4:30, I know that my hour is halfway in between 4 and 5. And to show 30, my minute hand, my longer hand, would be right on the 6. If I want to show 2:15, my hour hand, my shorter hand, is going to be a little bit past the 2 because it's not right at 2 o'clock, it's a little bit past 2 o'clock. And my minute hand is going to be on the 3, showing 2:15. Now you're going to get a chance to practice in your math journal. So if you could open up to page 4. For the first 3 problems, I want you to write down what time you see. For the second row, you're going to draw the hands just like what I did in the previous slide. And then for the last row, now for number 7, I want you to draw the hands to show me the time 1 o'clock. And then for 8 and 9, you can write down what time you see. So please finish this page on your own. When you're all done, take a picture and add the picture to Seesaw for your classroom teacher, and we will go over the page in the next video. Thank you.